Hello everyone. In the heart of the vast Bowla Ocean lie countless small islands, each holding incredibly captivating stories. They may be drawn by the unique shape or by the heroic history steeped in every inch of the land. However, there are more exceptional cases where certain islands are simultaneously under the jurisdiction of two countries. And this very division has created stark contrasts between these areas. Which islands in the world are currently being disputed by multiple countries over sovereignty? Let's take 5 minutes together to explore right now. Market. This is a small rocky island with an area of only about 0.03 square kilometers, equivalent to 3 hectares, located along the route connecting the Gulf of Bothnia to the Baltic Sea, between the territories of Sweden and Finland. It is part of the inland archipelago, formed in the 16th century due to changes in ocean currents. Small size ISN. In 1809, the Treaty of Friedrichshain was signed, establishing the border between Sweden and the Russian Empire, which then controlled Finland. This border ran across Market Island. Due to its location in a narrow corridor, low-lying terrain, and numerous submerged rocks, this area is quite hazardous for anchoring boats. After recording a series of shipwrecks in this area, Russia built a lighthouse on the island in 1885 to warn passing vessels. And ironically, that structure ended up on Swedish territory. The reason was that at the time, there were no accurate border demarcation maps, so they simply chose the highest point of the island for construction. For nearly a century since its construction, the lighthouse has stood there without any intervention from either country. In 1981, Sweden and Finland conducted a survey to resolve the issue. The result was the creation of a unique 506-meter-long border, curving in an inverted S shape as seen today. Finland and Sweden control 55% and 45% of the island's area, respectively. Though somewhat complex, this agreement has returned the lighthouse to its rightful owner, Finland, while Sweden received land of equivalent area to what they had previously ceded to Finland. This adjustment does not alter the coastline, and therefore does not affect the fishing rights of the two countries. Additionally, due to the harsh sea waves and extreme natural conditions, the border was marked by drilling 10 consecutive holes into the rock. In reality, harsh weather and strong ocean waves can sometimes significantly alter the island's shape. Therefore, every 25 years, this area conducts a comprehensive survey to adjust the border for accuracy and suitability. The most recent time both countries implemented changes together was in August 2006. The land of Canova. This island is called Nova Zemlya in Ukrainian and Ca in Romanian. This canal is 7 kilometers long, 80 meters wide, with a total water surface area of 0.56 square kilometers. This place was formed in the early 2000s in the Musura region, where the Danube River flows into the Black Sea. However, the matter wouldn't be worth discussing if the maritime border between Ukraine and Romania didn't run right through this island, making it a territorial dispute between the two countries. It wasn't until 2009 that the issue was resolved by dividing the island into two parts. Control over 60% of the island. Although the island is primarily formed from deposited sand and cannot sustain human habitation, thanks to its preserved pristine beauty, the part of the island under Romania's jurisdiction is being developed into an attractive tourist destination. Meanwhile, Ukraine appears to have made no significant changes regarding the part of the island under its sovereignty. Kataha. In 1809, the border between Sweden and Finland was established to run through the area between the two islands. Among them, the larger island, Kataha, belonged to Sweden, while the smaller island, Anakari, was under Finnish sovereignty. But over time, the natural sedimentation process following the Ice Age elevated this area above sea level, gradually connecting the two islands and forming the present-day Kataha Island, which spans 0.71 square kilometers. The 420-meter-long border between Sweden and Finland divides this area into two separate parts, with Sweden owning 85% of the territory, while Finland controls the remaining 15%. Today, Kataha Island is uninhabited, but thanks to that, its ecosystem remains perfectly preserved. The eastern area is primarily covered with forests of camellia, red maple, and willow, while the central and western regions are mainly dominated by coniferous forests. Travel document. For most of its history, Bahrain never shared a land border with any neighboring country. However, since 1986, a 25-kilometer-long highway spanning the Persian Gulf has been inaugurated, connecting Bahrain to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. This large-scale project also includes the construction of an artificial island named Passport, formed from sand and rocks dredged along the central route. This canal is 2.5 kilometers long and 0.6 kilometers wide, with a total area of 0.88 square kilometers. Currently, there are only about 10 staff members working here. Bahrain and Saudi Arabia currently jointly manage 50% of the island's total area and 50% of its population. Currently, each country manages a border station on its respective territory on the island, and the two areas are connected by a border line less than 200 meters long. Notably, both areas have their own mosques and fast food brands. 4 islands under the sovereignty of Russia and Finland. Currently, Russia and Finland share a border that stretches nearly 1,309 kilometers. It starts from the land border on the Finnish side, then runs northward and ends at the tripoint where Russia, Finland, and Norway meet. In reality, this border has inadvertently divided 4 offshore islands belonging to Finland's region. The island is divided into 2 parts, with Finland controlling the western half and Russia managing the eastern half. First is an unnamed island, often referred to as the southeastern island of Paraluoto. This is just a small rocky island with an area of about 224 square meters, its surface rugged and completely devoid of life. Next is Koiloto Lake, with a length of about 200 meters, a width of 110 meters, and an area of approximately 0.15 square kilometers. Finland currently holds about 60% of the island's area, while 40% belongs to Russia. The island is desolate, devoid of people, with only lush greenery covering the land. Currently, Koiloto is a restricted island, so people from both countries are not allowed to set foot there. About 3 kilometers south of Koiloto, Vanhatsaari Island, in Finnish, or Malipagrananai, in Russian, is a large island covering an area of 0.9 square kilometers. Here, a rich ecosystem thrives thanks to the vast expanse of lush green forests. Finally, there is Zahi Island, a rocky islet spanning 0.19 square kilometers. Due to its small size and lack of freshwater sources, the island is completely devoid of vegetation. Hans Island covers an area of 1.3 square kilometers. It is an uninhabited, barren island with no arable land, vegetation, or oil and gas resources. Nevertheless, this place still has many legal ambiguities. Though it is the smallest island in the chain of islands in the Nares Strait, which separates Greenland and Canada, it lies almost at the center. Under international law, each country has the right to claim sovereignty over a territorial sea extending 12 nautical miles, equivalent to 22 kilometers, from its coastline. Previously, due to limitations in 19th-century cartographic techniques and the risks of Arctic navigation, no country truly paid attention to Hans Island. When Denmark and Canada negotiated their maritime boundary in 1973, both sides agreed on a series of territorial claims, but this island was not included in that list. In 1984, the Canadian military conducted an operation to Hans Island. Besides planting the Canadian flag on the rock, they also deliberately left behind a bottle of the country's signature whiskey. Just 1 week later, a Danish official visited the island. He replaced the Canadian flag with the Danish flag and swapped the bottle of whiskey for a bottle of Danish schnapps. From then on, both sides frequently organized trips to gather and exchange each other's local specialties. By 2018, the two countries had agreed to establish a joint working group to address issues related to Hans Island. 4 years later, on June 15, 2022, Denmark and Canada agreed to divide the island into 2 nearly equal parts, following the natural water channel on the rocky surface. Green as young rice shoots, splendid as the mansion of Marcus Tan. This tropical island is located in the eastern Caribbean Sea, covering an area of 88 square kilometers and is home to 74,000 people. The northern half, under French control, covers 59% of the area and 51% of the population, and is called Sun Mac Ton. The southern part, belonging to the Netherlands, covers about 41% of the area and 49% of the population, and is called Sint Maarten, one of the 4 constituent countries of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. Previously, the Spanish had occupied this island in 1663. A year later, they had several forts built to assert their control over the land. However, everything changed completely on March 23, 1648. After jointly reclaiming the island, France and the Netherlands agreed to split the territory in half and establish an official border by signing the Treaty of Concordia. The subsequent conflicts caused the border to change up to 16 times, but since 1816, the boundary has remained stable to this day. Currently, there is a movement advocating for the unification of the two regions of this island. As early as 1990, a special flag was designed to symbolize this unity. Many believe that the Concordia Treaty, with its provision allowing free movement between the two island regions, helped foster a shared sense of belonging among the people living there. Sundam Island is an island in the Baltic Sea, covering an area of 445 square kilometers with a population of over 105,000 people. Currently, Germany and Poland are jointly managing this island. Sun Island. Since 1871, this region has been part of the German Empire. From 1936 to 1945, the Germans transformed a village on the island into the world's most advanced research and weapons manufacturing center. However, their defeat in World War II caused them to lose all of their overseas colonies. The eastern part, comprising 16% of the island's area, including the port city of Swinemünde, was assigned to Poland and later renamed Świnoujście. The maritime boundary around the Sabbatic Island remains unclear to this day. This is one of the key reasons why the Ambalat waters and the crude oil reserves east of the island have become a focal point of maritime disputes between Indonesia and Malaysia. The ambiguity in the eastern border also led to disputes over the two nearby islands, Sipadan and Ligitan. In 2002, the International Court of Justice resolved the territorial dispute in the Praia Vihir region, ruling that the islands belong to Malaysia. Currently, although there are border guard forces stationed on the island, it still lacks an immigration office, has no customs station, and lacks barbed wire fences or any walls to demarcate the border. Instead, the only markers delineating the border are concrete posts buried along the east-west line, spaced 1 kilometer apart. Du Island covers an area of 657.9 square kilometers and is located north of the entrance to Dixon Entrance, the natural boundary between the U.S. state of Alaska and Canada's British Columbia province. This is also one of the long-standing points of contention between the two neighboring countries. Previously, when the U.S. purchased Alaska from Russia and Canada was preparing to incorporate British Columbia into its territory, the issue of maritime border demarcation between the two countries arose. In 1903, an international arbitration tribunal established the AB line as the northern boundary of the entrance to Dixon Bay. The passage stretches from Mooson Cape, the southernmost point of Du Island, to Portland Island in the east. But then a new problem arose. From Canada's perspective, Line AB is considered the boundary dividing the territory between the two nations, including both land and maritime areas. But the U.S. side affirmed that the decision regarding Line AB only applies to the land border. According to maritime law, the actual sea border must lie 20 kilometers south of the AB line, meaning the entrance strait to Dixon would be split in half. Because no common ground could be found, this project has continued to drag on until today. Currently, Du is home to around 20 members of the Haida tribe in Alaska. They are believed to have lived in coastal caves on the island approximately 2,000 to 3,000 years ago. Carrying on the ancestral traditions and cultural identity, this community still primarily sustains itself through fishing and limestone quarrying. Timor. Here are the natural English translations for both versions. Previously, this island was home to many indigenous tribes. Ever since Europeans set foot on the island, Timor has been divided into two parts for centuries. In 1859, after the Treaty of Lisbon was signed, the Dutch took control of the western part of the island. Meanwhile, the Nha Trang Archipelago administers the remaining portion in the east. Shortly after Indonesia gained independence in 1949, the western part of the island was incorporated into the country's territory, which had previously been under Dutch control. After the Portuguese withdrew from their territory in 1975, Indonesia invaded and sparked a decades-long war. By 2002, a new country had been established in the eastern half of the island of Timor, named Timor-Leste. This country has a total area of 14,950 square kilometers with a current population of approximately 1.37 million people. The western half belongs to Indonesia's East Nusa Tenggara province, covering an area of 15,830 square kilometers with a population of approximately 2 million people. However, although located in the west, The Okusir administrative region is currently under the jurisdiction of the country of Timor-Leste. Due to its unique geographical position, the border of Okusir has always been a hotspot in the relations between the two countries. Currently, both regions on the island of Timor face their own challenges. Notably, in the part belonging to Indonesia, up to 30% of the population still lives in poverty. Similarly, with its fledgling government, Timor-Leste is also one of the poorest countries in the world, with a per capita GDP of just $1,453 in 2024. The main island of Tierra del Fuego, the Big Island of the Land of Fire. With an area of 47,992 square kilometers, this is the largest island in South America and ranks 29th in the world in size. It is also home to approximately 134,000 residents. In July 1881, the island was divided between Argentina and Chile, with each country receiving half, despite both previously claiming sovereignty over the entire island. This was part of the broader resolution of disputes over the Patagonia region, Tierra del Fuego, and the Strait of Magellan. According to the demarcation results, the western portion covering approximately 61% of the island's area belongs to Chile, while the eastern part accounts for 39% and is administered by Argentina. Although allocated more land, currently only 5% of Chile's population lives on the island, with an average density of 1 person per square kilometer. Meanwhile, on the other side, Argentines make up 95% of the island's population, with a sparse density of only about 7 people per square kilometer. One of the reasons the population in this region of Chile is sparse is due to the perpetual ice covering the southwestern part of Tierra del Fuego Island, along with its harsh climate. The harsh nature makes it impossible for people to live or cultivate here. Only the northwestern area is home to the large-scale livestock farms of the locals. S population is larger due to the government. This place is renowned for its enchanting scenery, endless green forests, and pristine coastline that captivate travelers from all over the world. Hispaniola. Hispaniola is the second largest island in the Caribbean, after Cuba, with an area of 76,192 square kilometers and a population of approximately 22.6 million people. Previously, the western part of this island was under French control, while the eastern part was administered by Spain. But not long after, Haiti gained independence from France in 1810 and took control of the entire island of Hispaniola. By 1844, an uprising against Haitian rule had erupted in the eastern region, formerly under Spanish control, leading to the birth of the Dominican Republic. Today, the Dominican Republic covers an area of 48,445 square kilometers with a population of approximately 10.8 million people. Haiti has a relatively small land area of about 27,747 square kilometers, yet it is home to 11.8 million people. Notably, although located on the same island, these two regions have entirely different fates. The Dominican Republic is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the Caribbean. This nation has achieved prosperity through effective policies and stable governance, clearly reflected in its per capita income reaching $11,689 in 2024. Haiti is one of the poorest countries in the Americas, with a per capita GDP of just $2,120, less than one-fifth that of its neighbor, the Dominican Republic. Their weak economy is not only affected by natural disasters but also faces a growing crisis of violence. This situation hinders relief efforts, exacerbates the humanitarian crisis, and traps people in a vicious cycle of hardship with no way out. Since then, many Haitians have secretly crossed the border into the Dominican Republic in search of livelihood, leading to lax border security and straining relations between the two countries. At times, the Dominican government even threatened to build a border fence to prevent the wave of illegal immigration. Located in northwestern Europe, Ireland has a total area of 84,421 square kilometers and a population of approximately 7.2 million people. Politically, this territory is currently divided into two parts. The southern part is the Republic of Ireland, while the northern part is Northern Ireland, which belongs to the United Kingdom. Here, the Republic of Ireland occupies over 83% of the island's area and 72% of its population, while Northern Ireland controls 17% of the area and the remaining 28% of the population. The island's history began in 1169 when the English invaded. This process led to the English establishing their rule here, while also sparking prolonged resistance from the Irish. Therefore, by 1921, Northern Ireland remained part of the United Kingdom as a constituent region. The rest of the island gained independence and became the Irish Free State. In 1949, the country officially changed its name to the Republic of Ireland. Today, although the two entities on the island use two different currencies, the euro and the British pound, trade activities between them continue to flourish. However, the economy of the Republic of Ireland has shown relatively more remarkable growth, with a GDP per capita reaching $103,426. Not only is it renowned as one of the world's top tax havens for businesses, but this place is also likened to the Silicon Valley of Europe. This area is home to many world-leading corporations in the fields of information technology, healthcare, and biotechnology. Regarding Northern Ireland, it is the smallest economy among the four regions of the United Kingdom. With a per capita income of approximately $36,137. For a long time, this place has thrived with an industrial economy, most notably in shipbuilding, rope production, and textiles. However, in recent years, services have gradually replaced a large portion of heavy industries. New Guinea. New Guinea is located in the southwestern Pacific Ocean, with an area of up to 785,753 square kilometers and an estimated population of around 15 million people. This is the world's second largest island, surpassed only by Greenland. Although it occupies less than 0.5% of the Earth's surface area. This river is estimated to account for about 5 to 10% of the world's total biodiversity. In reality, the island is divided into two distinct political territories, with Indonesia controlling 59% of the area and 68% of the population in the west. The island was split during colonial times. In 1962, after the Netherlands officially relinquished control over the Western Territory. Indonesia acquired this territory through a treaty signed with the Netherlands, leading to the 1969 referendum, also known as the Act of Free Choice. In 1975, the eastern part of the island gained independence from Australia and became the nation of Papua New Guinea. From this point onward, life in the two regions began to show clear differences. The western part of Guinea Island stands out due to its key economic sectors such as agriculture, fishing, and mineral extraction. Although Papua New Guinea's GDP per capita in 2024 reached $4,515, the actual income of its people was only $2,544. Notably, these tribes still preserve their traditional way of life and maintain customs passed down through generations. Or even the most backward and terrifying customs in the world. BONEO. With an area of 748,168 square kilometers and a population of over 23 million people. Borneo is the third largest island in the world and the largest in Asia by area. Spring originates from the ups and downs of history, but currently, this island is under the administration of 3 countries. Each part carries its own unique features, together forming a vibrant yet contrasting picture. Specifically, the region under Indonesia's sovereignty is called Kalimantan, covering approximately 73% of the area and 70% of the population of the island of Borneo. Most of the area here is covered by the planet's oldest tropical coconut palm forests. The people here are primarily indigenous tribes, living in small fishing villages and making a living by catching fish. Recently, Indonesia has drawn significant attention by announcing its plan to relocate the capital to Kalimantan. The new capital, expected to be named Nusantara, will replace Jakarta as the center of this archipelago nation. Next are the two Malaysian states of Sabah and Sarawak, which together account for 26% of the island's area and 28% of its population. This area is famous for Mount Kinabalu, which stands at 4,095 meters and is recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site. Additionally, visitors can descend to the coastal area to explore the unique lifestyle of the Pachau mermaid tribe. They are renowned for their incredible diving ability, capable of reaching depths of 20 to 30 meters without using scuba gear. Brunei is the only country entirely located on a single island, yet it occupies just 1% of the island's area and 2% of its population. This national park thrives thanks to its abundant oil and natural gas resources. In 2024, the GDP per capita reached $34,911. However, this dependence also carries the risk of economic instability, as global oil prices are often volatile and unpredictable. Moreover, according to forecasts, Brunei's oil reserves will be depleted within the next few decades. From then on, finding alternative revenue sources became a major challenge. Next up is Cyprus is an island in the eastern Mediterranean Sea, with an area of up to 9,251 square kilometers and a population of approximately 929,000 people. Additionally, this location lies on a vital artery leading to Swai Island, a strategically important point. Since gaining independence from British colonial rule in 1960, to date, the internal situation on the island of Cyprus has not yet fully stabilized. In reality, since 1974, this land has been divided into two regions, the south and the north. By 1983, with the withdrawal from the external side, the Turkish Cypriot community unilaterally declared the establishment of the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus to balance the Republic of Cyprus in the south. For decades, despite the relentless efforts of the United Nations and the international community, the negotiations between representatives of the Cypriot communities from both sides of the island, none of the measures have yielded any significant results for the Republic of Cyprus. Negotiations between representatives of the Cypriot communities from both sides of the island, those efforts yielded no promising results for the future unification endeavor. Currently, the island of Cyprus is divided into four distinct geopolitical regions. First is the Republic of Cyprus in the south, with its de facto controlled territory covering 58% of the island's area, with 56% of the population concentrated on the island. This is the country that has become an official member of the United Nations, and is one of the countries with a high quality of life, boasting a per capita income of up to $37,449.